In this video, we'll talk about all the popular Docker command which we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, the first command is Docker run. How to use it? Docker run hyphen name and name of your container, Docker container name, whichever you wanted to give it. Then -it stand for a interactive mode. Then the image name which you wanted to run it. In this case, we have kept it as a Debian. What it will do is it will run a container from my image. In this case, image is Debian image. Okay. So the next command is docker ps. When you run this particular command, what it does is it lists all the running container inside your laptop. Next command is docker ps -a. -a stand for all. It is nothing but it will list out all the containers, which is including all the stopped containers also. It will list it out. The next command is docker images. It will list all the images present on your laptop or wherever you have installed your Docker. The next command is docker pull image. The image ID, for example, in this case, docker pull BA. If any image is present in the Docker hub, it will be pulled to your local laptop. Okay. Basically, it is used to download an image from a registry. It can be a Docker hub registry or respective cloud service provider registry. Next command is to build the Docker image from a Docker file. Docker build -t, T for a tag, just give a name and then the path of your Docker file. What it does is it builds an image from the Docker file. In the Docker file, you could have mentioned all the instructions. The command is docker space build -t ba dot. I have mentioned it. It means that Docker file exists in my current working directory. Next command is docker stop container ID. It is basically to stop running Docker container. Docker start container ID. It's basically whatever that has been stopped, right? You can start that container. Docker restart. It's basically to restart a container. So if you wanted to log into a container, what you can do is run the command called as docker space exec -it and the container ID. If you wanted to log in, just give a space bin bash, or if you wanted to run a command, you can give that command. Automatically it will execute a command in a running container. Next bit is docker logs and your container ID. It is used to view the logs of our container. For triaging purpose it may require. So now you wanted to remove a container. What you need to do is docker space rm and container ID. So make sure your container should have been stopped, otherwise it will give you error. So rm is to remove the stop docker containers. Docker space rmi and image. So here just a hint, rm stand for a removal of a container. So removal of an image from your laptop, it is basically rmi. I denotes, you can remember it as a image, right? And then the image ID, it should be able to remove the image from your laptop. Next one is a docker network ls, which will list over all the docker networks. Docker volume ls, which will list all the docker volumes. When you run the docker -compose space up, this will start all the services defined in a docker compose.yaml file, and docker compose down, it's basically to stop and remove the services. Docker space info, which will display the system wide information.